Okay, hello folks, good evening and welcome back. To Suzerain, the Kingdom of Rizia. How are we all doing? I keep looking at myself in the camera and it's like, I'm really dark. Oh, good grief. I'm off to work tomorrow. I was supposed to be in the office today, but I woke up this morning and was like, I'll have put my alarm on snooze. I'll roll over and I'll get up in 10 minutes. And then I slept for 45 minutes. So, therefore, I couldn't go to the office because I wouldn't have been able to get a parking space because I overslept. Which is fine, because I've got to do 10 days in the office for the next 3 weeks. I've got to do 2 weeks of 3 days and 1 week of 4, so I've got a bit of time to play with. But you know how bad I am at not front-loading my office days. But I am going in the office tomorrow, so for the first time I'm in the office tomorrow, I'll get to show off my tan to my colleagues. But yeah, work was good. I was very productive today at work. I got my to-do list out this morning. I spent my first sort of 5-10 minutes just meticulously going through exactly what I want to get done this week, and I've knocked off probably about 30% of that to-do list already today. Got everything done today. Worked very swiftly. I put the benefits of working from home, which I haven't done this for a long time, but I started doing it about December-ish, or was it early Jan? It might have been early Jan actually. Actually, it was early Jan after the Christmas party stream. I started to listen to music again while I work. So I just put lo-fi music on, put it on very low, and then work away. And it's bliss. Typing away, doing my work, doing all my admin stuff and whatever else I need to do, whilst just the beats are in the background, Heating's on, it's lovely and toasty, there's nobody to distract me. If you're in the office, you get distracted, don't you? Because people want to talk to you. I know it's your job and all that, as a manager, you need to speak to your staff, but when I've got things to do, I don't want to be disturbed, dare I say. So yeah. Which means when I go to the office tomorrow, I can talk to people because I've got a lot of my tasks done, so I can actually feel much better about, do you want to have a chat for 10 minutes about some random nonsense? Let's chat away, let's go for a coffee, not a problem. I've got my tasks mostly done this week. So front-loaded on the tasks, which I think is my sort of future plan. But yeah, so good day at work. However, not a good day outside of work. So, after I finished work, I started horse racing. My goal this year is to ramp up the horse racing, the in-play horse trading, as it is. I've come across a new Telegram group that I'm watching and picked up a couple of new strategies and a new piece of software that I'm trialing. But it's been going very well over the past 12 months. It's been going very well. I'm in the 4-figure territory, which is always in terms of profits for the past rolling 12 months, which is nice. So it's going very well. And I thought, I'll do a bit of horse racing whilst I'm, finish work and waiting for the stream and all that, and try these new strategies with this new piece of software. So I'm using small stakes because it's a new strategy, it's new software, getting used to it. And I used it yesterday and made £9 profit. And was that the first day I used it? No, the first, £9 profit. And then I used it the day before. I used it on Friday. Couldn't do it Saturday. No, it was Saturday. I did it in between selling my car. And got £27 profit. So I was like, this is working very well. Yesterday, Sunday. Yesterday was a very up and down day. A couple of races I lost 40 quid, a couple of races I won 40 quid. It was very up and down. Eventually settled on the £9 profit. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I was beavering away today and got off to a bad start. Lost 40 quid straight away. Made that back, got to like £15 down, and then on this one race on the flat racing at Southall. Put my trade on. It was a perfect trade, which is difficult to achieve on flat racing because it's so fast. But I saw the horse starting to struggle. Got my opening and closing prices into the market quickly, and poof, perfect, done. £13, just like that. One click, poof, £13 in a jiffy. Happy days. And because this mouse, and you've seen me do it before, haven't you, where I've accidentally misclicked because my fingers lay heavy on the mouse. The previous mice that I've had are slightly lower profile, but because this is a higher profile mouse, my fingers, just when they're resting on the mouse, every so often just click down because my clumpy finger's too heavy and it just clicks the button. So after I'd executed my perfect trade, which I was very proud of myself. £13 profit for a very quick click there. You've got to be like lightning to get it in. I accidentally misclicked on another horse and lost 50 quid. I was fuming. Absolutely fuming. I couldn't, why couldn't I misclick anywhere else on the screen? No, I had to misclick right on the horse that won the race. So I lost money. That soured my mood this evening. Soured my mood. Yeah, and the other thing that soured my mood is I'm starting with a cough. Obviously, it's a typical sort of process when you get ill with a virus of some description. You get the sore throat first. I have had that, and it started into tonsillitis, which is dying down now a little bit because I'm on antibiotics. You get the sniffly nose bit, you get the headachy bit, all that kind of stuff happens in the first couple of days. I've got past all of that now. And then you get to the end of it, and your body needs to get rid of all the crap, and what happens, you start coughing, don't you? I hate it. The sore throat for me is the worst bit. The coughing is the second worst bit, because it interrupts stuff. You're talking to people, you're coughing, you're spluttering. Anyway, I'm starting with the cough now, and it's irritating my throat. And I actually feel a bit sick. Like nauseous, I suppose is the word. Nauseous. So, not feeling 100%. Not anything to do with losing 50 quid. I mean, that doesn't help, but hey. So, yeah, I've been a bit, got off to a great start, finished work feeling great, and then, things took a downward spiral. So let's hope that this session doesn't book that trend, or doesn't continue that trend, and we have success in today's session to lift the mood a touch, because I'm feeling a bit very frustrated, shall we say. But anyway, before we hit continue, we have got some authority, we've got some budget, and we've got some energy that we want to perhaps spend on projects, aka royal decrees, because why wouldn't we? And I, despite my glumness, have managed to do some planning actually. So bear with me as I get my diary out. It's cost me £3 that I was determined is going to be my 2025 path to success, and I've used about two pages of it so far, because I've been using my whiteboard instead, which has been far more useful. But anyway, so there's a couple of little bits in the royal decree section that piqued our interest, and I think I covered these briefly in the last session, but I've had another look just to refresh myself, and we still they still are strong candidates for us to press through. One of them is this residence and work permit for migrants. We don't want to give them permanent work permits, mainly because it's going to cost us budget per turn, and we're not that bothered about them. But we do need a bit of a boost for the labour force, so extending permits to migrants gives that initial influx, and it's only going to cost a bit of budget and authority and nothing else sort of long term. That could be something that we want to enact, but it's not a priority, and there's other things that we want to enact first, because it costs a lot of authority. That it's like democracy, isn't it? Anything that costs a lot of political fists is a strong, firm, controversial change, perhaps, and so at -3 authority, that's obviously quite an important decision. So it's sapping into my authority. So we'll leave that for the time being. this work permit one. However, the one that we're not going to leave is this one. Legalise illegal substances. Yes. Costs a bit of authority, because again it's quite a controversial decree, this one, but it'll give us budget per turn, so the earlier you enact this, the more benefit you're going to get in the long run from it, so no point of delaying. Obviously a couple of people are not happy with it. Quite interesting that the Grand Wiseman, the religious man, is neutral about it, but yeah, the Treasurer are clearly happy with it because it brings money to the Treasury, and Foreign Affairs man, well, I don't know why he's so pro it, but who cares? It could be all negative. I'm in charge. I'll do all that as I flipping well wish. So, yes, legalise illegal substances. We're going to get budget per turn. It'll cost us a bit of authority, but hey, we don't need to crack down on organised crime against drugs. We'll just legalise them, and then organised crime will probably vanish, because, hey, why go to your organised gangs for drugs? Why go to the shady street merchant when you can get it over the counter? That's going to scupper their plans, isn't it? And all that funds that we are putting into law enforcement to tackle the drug problem, well, we'll redirect it towards education, treatment programmes and public health initiatives. I think that's a noble endeavour. So let's get that signed. Legalise recreational substance use. Yes. It's turned into Amsterdam. Don't forget, Amsterdam, it's not legal, it's tolerated. Right, so that's the controversial one out of the way. Let's cross it off my list. Legalise drugs? Yes, please. Right, medium energy sale. We need more cash. Sacrificing a bit of energy, but we're going to get some energy. We're expanding our gas with the gas field. We're going to be building a coal mine, which will increase energy there as well. So we're not going to be massive energy powerhouses here, because we're not going for the hydro dam, because, as I said in the last session, it's in the lands of the I've forgotten the name of the family now. It's been a while. The family that tried to kill me. Oh well, they didn't try to kill me, actually, they just kidnapped me. We're not interested. So yeah, we're going to just go with a medium sale here. Still got a positive 2. We can afford that, and of course that's going to give us a little bit more budget to play with, because we do need a bit of budget to play with, because we're going to be buying a couple more things. So the couple more things that we're going to be purchasing here is +6 per turn, because of our drugs, our drug money. Let's get rid of that for a second. I think we're done here. Trade, we're done. Oh, what's happened here? What's happened? No, trade's done. Thank you. Construction, right. So, we are from Monkeys. The area way out east. We've lived there, pranced around the palace there. So, a port there, expanding the horizons of our homelands, certainly top of our agenda here, turning it into a powerhouse area of the country. And as we discussed last time, the big benefit to this is it gives us ships and submarines, which we know that we can sell for profit. Pretty decent profit too, because we don't want a military. We're relying on allies and diplomacy to get what we want, so hopefully this won't bite us on the backside. So we're going to sell off our military submarines and ships for great hunks of profit. So it's worth the initial outlay of -3 budget. It's a little smidgen of authority. It's going to take 2 turns. It's going to take some energy as well. But we're going to offset that with the construction of the coal mining development. Oh, hang on. I've miscalculated this here. Hang on. Hang fire, people. Happened here. By my calculations, I should be ending the turn with 2 budget. I must have written these down wrong. one Keysport is -3. The coal mine is -2, which is -5. We started with 5, right? But then I got 2 for the energy sale. Did legalizing drugs cost money? Does it tell you what it cost? Did legalizing No, it didn't. Can somebody rewind the stream? I can't understand this. Hang on a second. Right, so we've legalized drugs. It's cost nothing. We've done a medium energy sale, which just gives us 2 budgets. So 2 budget. Did we start the session with 3 budget, or did we start the session with 5 budget? Have I misseen? Anyway, we've purchased the port. The port was only 3 budget, right? Yeah. I don't want to leave myself with 0 budget, which means that I can't build the coal mine this turn. But I've got it started because I was going to buy it this turn, because I was going to leave myself with 2 budgets. So that's -3 for the port, -2 for the coal mine, so that's -5, plus 2 for the energy sale. So that's a net loss of only -3. And we started with 5. How is this working? I don't understand. I must have miscalculated. I can't go back now and check the numbers, check the figures. But I might have miscalculated. But I was certain that yeah, if we sign this now, we're going to be with no budget. Anyway, Crazy Canuck, welcome. Good evening to you, sir. Oh, this is very frustrating. I mean, I can do it next turn, but just going to delay it a little bit. But I can't go down to 0 budget. I could sell some military stuff. The crux of this calculation is, did I start today's session with 5 budget or 3 budget? If I started with 5, then the game is cocked up somewhere here. If we started with 3, I've cocked up. It's reading like we started with 3, if you ask me. Which is fine, because all we need to do is just sell some military stuff. It's fine. We started with 3. Oh, did we? Look, I'm not well, alright? Listen here, folks. I'm clearly not well. Right, first batch of military equipment sell. Sell first batch of military equipment to the international market for 2 budget. Do we need military equipment? A lot of people are against the selling of military equipment. What about support vehicles? 75 support vehicles? What about tanks? I don't want to sell too much. I don't want to sell too much of my military off. Is it worth selling one set of military stuff to fund a coal mine? That's the question. It's the energy per turn that we need. Where's our armed forces? We've got 3,250 manpower. Oh no, it's military equipment, sorry. We've got 2,250 military equipment. We can afford to sell 500 of military equipment. Oh, go buggeration to yourselves. Sorry. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Yeah, perfect. Right, now give us a coal mine. That's it. -2. Yep, perfect. Bing, bing, bong. Bush. Right. I don't know if we've left ourselves a bit short, but we obviously need a little bit of budget and stuff to take into the next turn. If we need it in an emergency, we can sell some more military equipment. If we need to. because we can enact these decrees at any time we want. So I think we've got enough to play with there. So I think we've done well. We've legalised drugs, legalised some drugs, sold some energy, sold some military equipment, started the construction of a port that's going to fund us in the future, and a coal mine that's going to provide us with some further energy. And in the next turn, depending on what other decrees come available, we're going to look at a gold mine. How big a military does our neighbours have? I don't think you can see their military in terms of the same numbers that we have. I might be wrong on that one, but I don't think you can. And it doesn't matter. We're a peaceful nation. Under my reign, we're going to get what we want through our wit and charm. All right? We're going to make the other leaders love us, and they're going to give us exactly what we want, despite the fact that a bomb's just gone off in one of the countries that well, it's actually, I think, happened in Zeal, which technically still ours. But yeah, that's going to go down well, isn't it? Anyway, we've got a few changes that have just happened. Welfare policies, yes, legalise recreational substance use. Decriminalise the regulated use of certain recreational substances. Yeah, under this policy, individuals are permitted to use specific substances for recreational purposes without facing legal penalties. We impose regulations and restrictions to ensure the safe and responsible use of these substances. Yeah, coffee shops. They're called, aren't they? Right, we've got 8 pieces of news here. So, news galore. Havas's vast coal reserves to be unlocked. We have authorised the construction of a new open-pit coal mine. Yes, indeed. And this was obviously as a result of our geological study that we did, which located both gold and coal in various regions in the country. So this is obviously a natural progression from funding that expedition. It would make no sense not to, wouldn't it? Yep, economic activity, jobs created in the area. We are, of course, taking environmental concerns into consideration for all of about 5 seconds and then completely ignoring them. Yes, right, Monkey's Port expansion ordered. A significant sum has been allocated to the expanding of the Monkeys Harbour. 3 docks are to be constructed, and an expansion of the shipyards is planned to boost local constructions of ships. Yes. We got trade as well, of course. A small military component for cash cow purposes. Energy export set to increase. Of course, we've continued to export more of our energy, but that's as much as we can afford to give out now. Recreational narcotics soon to be available at your local pharmacist. Yes, radical change of policy. The notorious Yishash. What a name for a drug. Can't even say it. Try to say that when you've used it. And rat spice. This drastic change of approach follows growing international consensus that harm reduction and removing narcotics from the illegal circuit leads to less violent crime. Funds usually reserved for cracking down on the drug trade will now be diverted to education, addiction treatment programs and other public health initiatives. But only licensed healthcare professionals like pharmacists and doctors will be allowed to sell these newly legalised narcotics. But more importantly, of course, I am unharmed in the Zeal bombing. Yes, there's going to be some serious ramifications here. Friendship Day marred. Cause of the blast is still unclear. Yeah, it was very clear to us. Somebody screamed for Rizia and boof. We're going to try to spin this, of course, that it wasn't a Rizian that did it. It was clearly somebody that's got tried to frame it to be a Rizian to cause. Maybe Smolak did it on purpose. Maybe he paid somebody to shout it and blow it up and then blame us for it because he didn't want to give it back. Oh, now there's a little sneaky way to do things. Is he clever enough to do such a thing? Geopolitico. Rizia's neighbours worried about drug legalisation. See, the throat's going now, you see. Already. We've only been going for half an hour. After Rizia's drastic move to legalise an expansive list of illegal substances, including infamous drugs like yishiash and rat spice, some countries in the region have expressed their dissatisfaction with the Rizian kingdom. Which one? Dirdia? Yeah, well, Dirdia would do, wouldn't they? Certainly. The left-leaning country, down south, they're called. Names escape me, I haven't played the game for a little while. I've been on holiday since. The one with the female left-wing politician leader. They're probably quite pro-drugs, right? Anyway, we don't care what other people think. Unless it's Rumberg, predominantly. Will Zeal incident disrupt fragile bond between Rizia and Valen? Shocking explosion that rocked this year's Rizian Friendship Day could impact the region's transition back into the Rizian government, experts say. Oh, my dead body. We can't take it back by force, of course, but hey, we've got tricks up our sleeve, don't you worry about that. We'll incite a rebellion. We're already on with it. While the exact cause of the incident has not yet been determined, all signs point to an act of terrorism. And the fact that only Wezek civilians were harmed would certainly indicate Rizia's involvement. Should Wezek President Victor Smolak feel security in the region has been sufficiently compromised, he can invoke paragraph 37 of Article 20 of AN law to delay the handover. How convenient. I'm telling you, he's done this to himself. Sacrifices. He don't care about his own people. Yeah, he'll happily blow them up to keep hold of the land. I am certain of it. This would, however, anger the Rizians, who have been anticipating a timely return of their land. Yes, this is going to be causing some bit of a strife situation to occur, and we have a report here, preliminary report on the bombing. Wezek Intelligence has released a thorough accounting of the events of Wezek Rizian Friendship Day. I forgot to go pick up my parcel from my porch, actually. It's a big parcel as well, hopefully it's not going to go walkabouts. Explosion is said to have been caused by a detonation device planted under the grandstands and timed to go off during the afternoon's celebrations. Part of the stands collapsed in the blast, killing 3 Wezek civilians and injuring a further 14. Witnesses at the events heard the shouted phrase, "For the King!" prior to the blast, suggesting a political motivation and the involvement of pro-Rizia supporters. Welland's intelligence forces have indicated that the group Su-Omina is under particular suspicion for the attack. I've been sat down all day, and I have been getting up and sort of moving my legs about, but my legs are starting to really hurt now because I've been sat down for all day, literally. Right, how are we going to get out of this one? We can spin this somehow, surely. Well, it's purely coincidental. For the king, how many kings are out there in the world? How many king he's talking about? No? Ties tattered. That's not a... Su-Ominous. An ominous title of a chapter there. Oh, I sold myself short, didn't I? I completely forgot that the money was going to tick over. And all the +6, +3, plus, was going to tick over into the new turn. So I could have taken myself down to 0, and it would have just given me a fresh batch of money to start the new turn anyway. Oh, for God's sake! I mean, I've only sold military equipment. It's not the end of the world. But I'm debating now whether or not we just buy the gold mine straight away. But do you know what? We don't have to do anything now because the turn has ended, so we might as well wait to the end of this turn and we can maybe get a few more extras. But yeah, gold mine definitely next on the list, and we'll take a look at anything new that crops up that we think, ooh, that sounds like right up our street. There's a couple of other little decrees that do sound up my street, but they're definitely not priorities right now. Privatising welfare could be another one, but I don't think we're gonna. I don't think money is going to be our issue. Once we start selling ships and things, I don't think it is. I think authority could be an issue, and certainly energy becomes the problem. Money, I think, will be fine. Not that we're going to be starting to throw it around like confetti to anything that the RPP propose. But anyway, Toby Carver doing lunches for £5. What is that? A permanent thing, or is that a special offer? I'll get my parcel when I go down for my dinner. My dinner's should be in about next 20 minutes. Next 3 days. I don't think there's a Toby Carver in the city centre that I could avail myself of to cash in on this offer. There is one up the road, about a 5-minute drive up the road. But again, I'm working, so. But that is a good deal, because I'm assuming you can just fill your boots, all you can eat, for a £5. Or is it a set meal? Because carvery is usually all you can eat, right? Get yourself your 3 meats, all your veg. And if it's a Toby Carver, you get macaroni cheese. Get those lovely potatoes with the bacon and cheese. Or is that? Oh, that's the breakfast. That's the breakfast potatoes. They're delicious. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted because I'm hungry. Right. We've got briefings. The Ark Sanctuary of Plavo reopens after restorations. Happy days. Let's all go and pray. The restoration of the Ark Sanctuary has been completed, with the final and most delicate part of the holy site, the tomb of Caelus the Devout, taking the longest, as extreme care had to be taken not to damage the ancient site. Both Ruhasist and Golcondas worshippers expressed their gratitude. No problem at all, I say. No problem at all in a day's work. Well, actually several days' work, but hey, it was a day's work for me to sign it off. Update on the Zeal incident. Oh, of course, the statue that we commissioned. A large white marble statue of the entire Taurus family, including Romus, Lena, Valero, Estella, and Vina, has been revealed at the intersection of Taurus Avenue and the Golden Boulevard. The statue is a staggering 16 metres tall, with the crowns plated with gold. Due to its location, the sun sets beautifully behind the family, forming a halo around them in the early evening. I mean, fantastic. Even to the precise location of it, they've done a job very well there, haven't they? People, I mean, clearly it's not a statue of the king naked, like certain characters in other playthroughs would commission. So this is more classy and more tasteful, perhaps. You might argue. Right, update on the Zeal incident. Please update me. Ooh. We've got quite sinister music here. A few weeks had passed since the attack in Zeal. I called Lucita, Hugo, Titus and Vina to my council chambers for a security update. Titus insisted on sweeping the room before Vina and I sat down. Hugo was next to arrive, early as usual. I mean, stop trying to be Lucian, pal, alright? In fact, he wouldn't be early, he'd be right on the dot. Your Majesty, how are you faring? I'm shook, I'm in shock, I'm shaken up. I mean, I'm worried about, this is precisely what we're worried about. I mean, I am not in shock anymore. The shock is done. I'm past being shocked right now. And yes, how was such an attack allowed? You could argue, could be these kind of questions we would have already have asked by now. But this question, this statement, clearly rings true. I am certainly worried about Valen's reaction. Smolak hasn't even made a public statement yet. Perhaps no news is good news in this case? Gentlemen? Everyone automatically fell silent as Lucita strode through the room. Just going to turn the volume down a touch, I think, of the game. It might be a bit loud, I'm not sure. and I'm not in my prime projection levels of volume today. Lucita strides through commanding authority. She was dressed in her army's major's blazer, with 2 stars prominently displayed above her right breast pocket. Now that crisis had struck, her entire bearing had changed. She had a commanding air about her. Yes, at ease, Duchess Azaro. There's no need for dramatics here. Thank you, Your Majesty. Lucita sat and flipped open a dossier. I'll reiterate what we already know. At 16:05 hours on December 8, 1950, an explosive object detonated in Smolex Square in the city of Zeal. It had been planted beneath grandstands that were set up that morning. Seated in those stands were a mix of civilians and political figures who had been invited to the Friendship Day event, all of Wezek heritage. The most recent casualty report states that 3 civilians were killed in the blast. Of the 14 injured, all are now in stable condition. Yes, we know that wasn't you. The team seemed too impatient. Yes. And added to that, of course, somebody screamed for the king. Rather damning, isn't it? I haven't forgotten, nor has Valen. She turned a page. Based on the scant evidence available, Valen's intelligence agency suspects that the Rizian nationalist group Su Omina was behind the crime. She looked I read that as menacingly. She looked meaningfully at Hugo. Perhaps it should have said menacingly, I don't know. It's his son in charge of that, of Is it Isa? And he is obviously part of this Su Omina movement too. Yes. And this is what I thought. I did say it, didn't I? I did say this could the Smolak be so clever, callous, both, to sacrifice his own people, to stage this to look like we've done it so that he can keep hold of Zeal? I think that is completely up his street. Yeah, we're gonna go down this line. This is precisely what we're thinking. I agree. Besides, I've already spoken to Rico. He's absolutely nothing to do with what happened. I mean, that is also true. It won't be, Dad. Won't me. Nothing to do with me at all. Finger behind back, fingers crossed. Honestly. I certainly don't believe him either, to be honest with you. And do we want to openly question his son in front of the whole council? It's time and place, you know? Trying to play this game well. Not the game as in the game as in play the game of politics. What were Su Omina's activities like in the months leading up to the attack? Nothing out of the ordinary. A few marches. All peaceful events held to promote Rizian values. Su Omina is not and has never been a violent organization. I should clarify the group's official activities have never been violent, but individual members have printed leaflets calling for a more creative solution to the Wezek problem. I don't understand why Cousin Rico would even support a group like that. Queen Liza always said monarchy was incompatible with nationalism. The crown knows no borders. Please don't change the subject, Vida. How dare you? No, it is true. National identity should be secondary to one's loyalty to the throne. Do you really think the Wessex miscreants streaming into this country are doing so out of loyalty to you? If I may, Your Grace, why have you never once thrown your own weight behind Sue Omina if you support its ideals? Hugo spread his hands wide. It would do the group no favours to have an old man like me in the spotlight. They need youth, vitality. They are the future of Rizia, after all. He smiled warmly at Vina. My daughter looked away. Future or not, we have no concrete proof Sue Omina was behind the attack. All we have is Valen's word, which is worth spit. Yeah, what good are your foreign intelligence agents? Well, obviously it's not a cut and dried case. We can't just base it on our accusations with no evidence. I don't want to come down like a ton of bricks either. So, yeah. And it is in Valen's interest to pin the blame for the bombing on Rizia. It's clear to me. Just need some proof. Exactly. We still haven't ruled out the possibility that President Smolak himself ordered it. Or another party interested in weakening the both of us. With an increased foreign intelligence budget, we could commission a full investigation into the Zeal incident and take measures to prevent such an event from reoccurring. Oh. Okay, but this sounds like it could be important. If we can get to the answers of what's caused this and definitely pinpoint it on Smolak, Zeal should be ours, right? Surely. How much would that cost? A significant portion of our emergency funds, but it'll be worth it. Pardon me, ma'am, Major, Duchess. All eyes turned towards the man in the gold blazer. May I point out that you weren't present on the day of the Zeal incident. The King and I were. Prior to His Majesty's arrival, my men and I attempted to clear the square of every conceivable danger. However, we could not be everywhere at once. My mother's found the parcel, at least. Oh, is he going to suggest that we put the funding into the Golden Guard, maybe? What's your point, Mr. Gordian? This event has shown how vulnerable you and the royal family truly are, and how ill-equipped my men and I are to seek out and neutralize threats to your safety. Therefore, it is my opinion that any emergency funding allocated in the wake of the Zeal attack should go towards re-expanding the Golden Guard. With more men under my command, I could also easily send a team to Isa to confirm or rule out Sue Omina's involvement in what happened. Lucita's jaw dropped. Hugo eyed Titus uneasily. Your Majesty, you recently conveyed your apprehension over re-expanding the Golden Guard's ranks and duties, but this incident would serve as an excellent opportunity for us to demonstrate our capabilities. Lucita spoke up sweetly. I'm sorry, but why wasn't I privy to this discussion? The expansion of the Golden Guard is a security-related issue, which, as Council of War and Internal Security, falls under my purview. Oh, listen, we were just having a chin wag, alright? Forgive me, I don't want to apologise. Yes, I've been meaning to bring it up with you, just didn't have time, you know, getting bombed here. Hello, David. Welcome. Oh, the Toby Carvery is for unlimited breakfast for a £5. That's even better, because the Toby Carvery breakfasts are really good. Actually, I say that, depends, sometimes a bit hit and miss. But if everything's cooked as it should be and not overly cooked and so it's dry as a bone, yeah, it's really good. Really good. You don't trust this guy. Which guy? The Titus fella. We're obviously going to have to make a decision, aren't we? Put the funds into the intelligence network, put the funds into the Golden Guard. We'll make the decision when we get to it, but it's a tough one. I've been meaning to bring it up. I've been a bit busy. Ma'am, you must be aware of the historical role of the Golden Guard. Until very recently, we were much more than simple guardsmen. Previously, the Guard had the authority to conduct sensitive, internal investigations without getting caught up in red tape. The royal family and Rizia were both more secure because of it. Lucita gritted her teeth. Oh yeah, don't forget also that we are asking him to investigate our father's potential murder. So the funding might also bolster that. Lucita gritted her teeth. What you call red tape, I call accountability. You are asking for permission to act outside the law. I am asking for permission to become more agile, flexible arm of the law than any division currently in operation. This will benefit us both. We need to find out who's behind this bombing. Can the Golden Guard help with that? Because if they can, we're giving it to them. They're going to help with my father's investigation. They're going to help get behind this bombing. Although I suspect that it wouldn't be that simple, would it? Oh yes, we can do everything for you. Otherwise it would negate the other decision, surely. That's precisely what I'm suggesting. We need to recruit qualified individuals and equip them with the technology to carry out covert surveillance in Excuse me? Captain Gordian, I am all for the expansion of the Golden Guard, but not if you insist on using it to chase a dead end. With respect, sir, we don't know whether it is a dead end. And investigating an organization with ties to the royal family is exactly the kind of sensitive mission the Golden Guard was built for. Perhaps so, Captain Gordian, but the attack took place in Valen. Any resources that go towards investigating it should be allocated there, not within Rizia. She, Hugo, and Titus glared at each other. The tension was broken by a knock on the door. Lorento came in, clearly out of breath. Excuse me, Your Majesty. My fellow councillors, these stairs never get any easier. What's going on? Lorento sat down. After catching his breath, he continued. I've just received word from Valen's foreign minister. President Smolak plans to make it public that Rizian nationalists were involved in the Zeal incident. Lucita's hands closed into fists. Our relations with Valen have been cordial enough that Smolak will not immediately blame the crown, but he will be expecting a response. He's just testing us. His government can't prove anything. How dare he? I mean, obviously, it's kind of a situation where we can... I'll do whatever I need to do to get him back on side. I'm not really bothered about being on side, although unless getting him on side is going to result in him giving this back to us. I'm bringing the Blues into this. Right. You know, it's not a surprise that he's blaming it on Rizian nationalists at all, because why wouldn't you? If you know, it's a natural kind of conclusion from the events. But we're still no less certain that they are behind this. You see now why I want to launch an investigation. Imagine the reaction once it comes out that Smolak attacked his own people. May I ask what the 5 of you were discussing before I came in? Our security response to the Zeal incident. Duchess Cesaro is requesting funds for a foreign intelligence investigation in Valen, while Mr. Gordian would prefer the Golden Guard to be given license to investigate threats within Rizia's borders. Well summarised, Vina. We're delaying the decision just yet. Thank you, Your Majesty. Lorento raised an eyebrow at Titus, pleasantly surprised. Interesting initiative, Mr. Gordian. Following up on Valen's leads with our own internal investigation would certainly make diplomatic sense. Would it? Or would it cast unnecessary suspicions on the royal family? I agree. It's dangerous to investigate an organisation that His Majesty has blood ties to. But officially clearing Su Omena's name would be a boon for both the group and the kingdom. So, Your Majesty, will you be conducting one of these investigations? -3 budget? Flippin' hell! No, I'm not. Of course, well, we're going to have to do. Oh, now it's decision time. Expand our intelligence forces and send a team of investigators to Valen, or look into Su Omena. Holy cow. Well, we have to do one of the two. Which one do we do? Oh no. I don't think funding Captain Gordian is going to have any bearing on the investigation into my father. I think that must be a separate entity. So that shouldn't really factor into our decision making, strictly speaking. So do we want to investigate Su Omena, or do we want to investigate Valen? I think what this boils down to. This is a tough one, actually. This is a very tough one. Although it does say, I'll get you the resources you need to look into Su Omena and then some, which also sounds like it means, oh yeah, and you're going to have budget to do other things too. Captain Gordian. I do trust Captain Gordian. Probably more than I trust Lucita, to be quite honest with you. She's another family, you know, from another family, and as much as she's on the council, when you're another family, military branch, you know, the historic history of the military, uprising in the past and all that still lingers there. But ultimately, we want to get to the bottom of this. We want Zeal back, and to get Zeal back, we have to make sure that we get to the bottom of it. And I think we're more likely to get to the bottom of it if we pursue our hunch. And our hunch is that Smolak has got something to do with this. Hello? Alright. So we should probably send our budget to the intelligence forces. But then on the flip side of that, giving it to Gordian, increasing the Golden Guard, which obviously promotes an investigation into Su-Omina, would also lead to us being more secure, bodyguards and all that. Anyway, my dinner's ready, so I'm going to go grab my dinner, ponder this decision, get a drink, and when I come back, I'll probably still won't have made it. So if you've got any thoughts, people, non-spoilers of course, feel free to chip in. I'll be back in 2 minutes. I think my mother's trying to poison me. There's a cauliflower here. It's chicken Kiev, chips, cauliflower, and sprouts. I love sprouts. Controversial probably. But the cauliflower is pink. It's supposed to be white. So I said, what the hell is it? Why is it pink for? Oh, she said it's probably because we've had the cauliflower since before I went on holiday. Does cauliflower don't turn poisonous, does it? With age, with time. Right, anyway. What are we doing here? Oh, this is a very tough decision. Very tough decision. Hang fire, folks. I don't know if I was just swallowed something down the wrong hole, a bit of salt's gone down, but there's a right horrible taste in the back of my throat after eating that, and now I'm convinced it's the cauliflower, so I'm not going to eat the cauliflower now. It's probably nothing to do with the cauliflower. Okay, so, right. Gordian, Golden Guard, extra resource there. Investigating Su-Omina could implicate Hugo's son, Rico, which would besmirch the family name, but hey, not a good thing. Not a good thing necessarily. Or we could try to see if we can pin it on Smolak. This is really going to tick off Lucita. If I mean, not that we really care too much. If we were to pick that, Gordon would be unhappy, but he's a loyal servant, so he'll do as he's told, and it's not a thing. Whereas if we pick that, she's a council member, and that could be problematic. Chicken Kiev jam, chicken Kiev chips, 3-week-old cauliflower, and a few sprouts. Yeah, I'm not eating the cauliflower. I don't know. It's turned pink. If a cauliflower turns pink when you've cooked it, surely that's not a good sign, right? I'm not eating it. I might have to Google it. Is it safe to eat a cauliflower that's like 3 weeks old? What if a cauliflower turns pink when you cook it? Is it poisonous? I'm telling you, I've eaten something. I've eaten a bit of it and my throat's gone all funny. Right. We could be on this decision for the next half an hour. Maybe I should just flip a coin. When in doubt, flip a flipping coin. Just flip a touche. Oh, it's heads. Therefore, it's Lucita. Off you go. Couldn't decide, so I decided to flip a coin for it. How about that? Let's think of the ramifications council-wise. So, I think Lorento wouldn't be too adverse to Captain Gordon getting it. Was it left outside in the sun? No, it's just in the veggie basket. I think I'll have to Google it now. Oh, apparently pink cauliflower is safe to eat. So it's just basically over-ripened. Oh, okay, it's fine. I'll eat a little bit of it now. Right, okay, come on, let's make this decision. Oh, I really don't want to resort to a random number generator to do this. I should really make a decision. We're a man of tradition, right? We're a man of tradition, and traditionally the Golden Guard were very powerful. They were scrapped under Liza, and my father brought them back as a kind of a skeletal force. And there was a reason for that, actually. The reason, because it was going to upset people, I think, if he brought them back in full strength. So it's probably going to be an unpopular decision to do this, but we're a man of tradition, right, and history. And historically, the Golden Guard worked this skeletal, and historically they were used to do underhanded operations and investigations and etc, etc. And therefore, under our watch, we're going to now restore them to their former glory. Looking to suit Omina, get the situation sorted, protect me and the royal family, and all the rest of it with this hefty budget I'm about to give you. There we go. Titus forcefully saluted. Thank you for your trust in the Golden Guard, sir. We won't fail you. Lucita scowled. I am expecting results, Mr. Gordian. And I am expecting tact and discretion, needless to say. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty, Titus. Ooh, it's putting people on notice here. As still the matter of the king's public response. Do you have any suggestions? I mean, I know exactly what to say. Yes, 2 fingers to you, Mr. Smolak, but no. I welcome suggestions. I suggest you tell the truth. You take Wayland's intelligence seriously and will be conducting your own investigation into the suspected perpetrators. Emphasizing, of course, that Sue Omina is a lone wolf that does not represent the views of the Crown. Hugo sniffed. Or express your confidence that the group is innocent, which it is. We have no evidence of that, Mr. Hugo. I find it unwise to confirm or deny Sue Omina's innocence before more information is known. But I'll leave it to you, Your Majesty. It seems the next steps are quite clear. Or was there any other subject that needed discussion? I'm quite satisfied with our results today. Yes, you're all dismissed. We're done when I say we're done. We can go completely, like, really hard king here, you know. Everybody feels my tongue lashings. The others began filing out of the room. Titus stayed behind. He walked up to me and looked me in the eyes. Thank you once again, Your Majesty. You have the Golden Guard's undying loyalty. I mean, that is strictly true. Good, because there's one other investigation I'd like you to conduct for me. Yes, sir? I'd like to know exactly how my father died. I have reason to believe that his death was no accident. Titus froze in place. He spoke in a low voice. As you know, I was there in the palace when it happened, and believe me, I have some questions of my own. Should everyone who was present that night be considered a suspect? Yes. Everyone. Titus nodded seriously. Consider it handled. Expect an update soon, along with progress on Sue Omina. Titus gave a dutiful bow and left the room. I picked up a pen and began drafting my response to Valen. Oh, hi, ho, ha. Hi, hidely ho. Got quite a few things to read. Got quite a couple of new decrees. So it's a perfect time for me to go on mute whilst I just eat some of this dinner, and you'll have to read yourselves some of these little bits and bats, but hopefully it'll be won't be too much of an issue. So I'll be back shortly. Plus it says my voice is beginning to go on me. Right, sorry about that. I'm now finished. Ready to rock and roll. So we got a few little things there. I wasn't quite so sure with the decision that we had to make in relation to the Sue Omina Zeal thing. Obviously, we weren't going to support them. We denounced them. What's this here? Start planning for Windows 10 end of support. Remind me later. There was like a neutral option, and there was an option to denounce them. And I wasn't sure what the option that I was expecting was the option that Mr. Escabel had put forward, that we're investigating them, and that's it basically. Now, was that the neutral option or the denounce option? We have actually denounced them, but was that maybe going a step too far? Maybe we should remain neutral. I'm not sure. But anyway, we've made that decision now, so we'll have to live with it. And it's now time for us to meet the old Queen of Rumburg, my sister-in-law, right? Is that sister? How does this work? Sister-in-law, yeah. So Vina, Estella and I sat in Palace Resner's most ornate stateroom, awaiting the arrival of Queen Beatrice Livingston. An informal supper with my sister-in-law was scheduled for this evening, but for now, the protocol for an official diplomatic visit had to be observed. Parble came in through the stateroom door. He took a deep breath. Announcing Her Majesty Beatrice Livingston, Queen of the Four Corners of Macopa, Defender of Castle Zabra, Conqueror of the Tranquil Seas, Stout Protector of the Ancient Lands of Rome, Descendant of the Most Honourable King Edward I, and the Ruler of Rumburg. Quite finished. He stepped aside and Queen Beatrice entered. She was wearing an emerald green gown that matched her tiara. Vina, Estella and I rose to greet the Queen. Kiss her on the cheek, kiss her on the hand, shake her hand, embrace. It's only right we kiss her hand, surely. Shake her hand. No, we'll do, she's my sister-in-law after all. I took my sister-in-law's hand and kissed it. She looked me up and down. Oh, that's not a good sign, is it? What a pleasure it is to see you, Your Majesty. We barely had the chance to speak at the coronation. And my dear niece. She turned towards Vina. Why, you're looking more and more like your mother every day. I hope your father's proud of the lady you've become. I am, and I know Lena would have been too. Vina beamed. It's lovely to see you, Aunt Bay. Beatrice embraced her tightly before moving on to my mother. The two women gave each other air kisses, then stood back and eyed each other. Queen Beatrice, Queen Mother Estella. She tilted her face upwards and gave a short sniff. The palace looks as magnificent as always, but I fear a chat with your housekeeper may be in order. Every time I visit, it smells just like the faintest bit of trash. My mother feigned a puzzled look. Is that so, Your Excellency? Funny. I do seem to detect an unpleasant draught of hot air, but only since you walked in. Ladies, be civil. We have important state issues to discuss. Then I shall take my leave. I have a terribly urgent appointment on the other side of the palace. By all means, Your Highness. Our chatter is far more boring than the sort of carousing you're used to. Vina, why don't you run along as well? We'll catch up over supper. Vina reluctantly nodded. Sure, Aunt Bay. Have the staff give my room a ring when you're done. I'll see you two out. Just a moment. Parble walked Beatrice and myself over to a pair of velvet armchairs. Next to them was a table upon which a towering silver Rumbergian tea urn had been set up. He filled 2 porcelain cups for us, then escorted Vina and my mother out the door. Beatrice motioned for her own attendants to wait outside. We settled into our seats. Itchy nose. Now, do we put her in her place about our mother, or do we not even address that situation? Because I very much, I'm a mummy's boy, king. We don't appreciate that. But then, alliances with Rumberg, if takes the ump, could be catastrophic. Sip my tea in silence. Oof. I'm so tempted, but that can't surely cause such a fuss. You know what? We're gonna just, we can't let it slide. I'm afraid we can't. It's our mother. She's just talked to like that. I mean, she gives as good as she got, really, doesn't she? To be fair, she's not a shrinking violet. No, you know what? Forget it. To what do we owe this pleasure, Your Excellency? First things first. Queen Beatrice extended her little finger and raised her teacup. She smiled approvingly. Just like home. My compliments to your butler. Now, how are you faring a year into your reign? I know you had quite the scare in Zeal. I hope you had anything to do with it. I'm not necessarily scared about the ramifications. I've good security. Everything's now under control. I do hope that's true. Needless to say, Rumberg has been monitoring the fallout of the incident with great concern. Oh, your concern is much appreciated. She nodded. Aside from my worries about your personal safety, I foresee a scenario where Valen uses this tragedy to its own gain. And Valen amassing more power is not in either of our interests, correct, Your Majesty? Not as long as they have our land. Precisely. Beatrice leaned forward and held my gaze. Of course, we are the same age, Your Majesty, but I've worn my crown for many years longer than you have yours. And I and my country are far more experienced at dealing with the Republic of Valen and their backers in the CSP. By indicating that you regard your own countrymen as culpable for the bombing, you are putting yourself in a position of weakness from the start. Have you thought about your next steps? What will you do if Mr. Smolak fails to relinquish his hold on Zeal? will exercise diplomacy until an agreement is reached. The more we're going down this path, the more ludicrous it seems, to be quite frank, but hey, we'll get there. That sounds simply wonderful. Until you arrive at the bargaining table and realise your pockets are empty. To that end, Rumberg is prepared to provide assistance with the delicate situation in which you found yourself. I mean, do we want to disclose our strategies to this lady? Do go on, Queen Beatrice. Here's what I suggest, Your Majesty. As you may know, Rumberg is currently a major importer of Vezek oil. If we were to significantly reduce our imports, the financial pressure and thus your leverage over Valen would be considerable. Yeah. And you deprive your own people of energy just to help Rizia? I most certainly would not. But in fact, my advisors and I have been speaking about forging new energy partnerships. And as it happens, Rizia is about to come into possession of quite a bit of natural gas, correct? Strictly speaking, our scientists are still trying to figure out the details. I see. Very interesting. Oh, have we just shut this line of negotiation down? I was about to propose that Rumberg purchase Rizian energy in lieu of Wezek oil. We enrich your country and assist you with your Valen problem in one fell swoop. Oh. But then we'd have to broker a negotiation for the gas field, because the whole Pales, us, gas field, where does it lie kind of situation. Not sure about that yet. Give me 1 second, guys. I just need to... Sorry about that. So clear the old nose out. What's the plan for the week ahead? Plan for the week ahead. Tomorrow is no football. Football is because Leeds United are playing tomorrow, so there's no football. Wednesday I'm off out for lunch, and then Thursday, and then Wednesday I'm playing football in the evening. So busy day Wednesday. Thursday football. Friday usual, and Saturday, Sunday. Nothing planned for this weekend, I don't think. No, nothing planned. So, pretty busy week from tomorrow onward. No, from Wednesday onwards. Tomorrow, I'm going to work, but I've got nothing planned in the evening, so there could well be a Baldur's Gate 3 stream coming your way tomorrow. Can't promise just yet. See how my current state of wellness develops. Right. This sounds like a good plan, though. This sounds like a very good plan. Oh, I can guarantee we'll be able to access the gas field somehow. By hook or by crook, we'll be getting some of that gas. And she won't be taking all of the gas, right? I reckon that if we agree to this, we probably get a reduced output from the gas field compared to what we might have got if we were going to use all of it ourselves. And we are sort of bolstering our energy with other means, so I think this could be a big, big plus here. So, do you know what? Yeah. You'll get access to the gas from the field and stop purchasing oil from Valen, and therefore puts a bit of financial pressure on them. I like the sound of it. It doesn't have to be that one particular gas field, to be honest. We'll accept other sources. Grant us a small amount of energy to add to our stockpile now, and we can cut off Wayland immediately. Ooh. When is our thingy kicking in? Our thingy mabobsy. We can buy gas as well. We can import gas a couple of times with surplus cash. So it's a bit of an old balancing act, isn't it? This whole resource thing. But we can buy back some and import some energy for cash. So, but yeah, I think our gas field that we've already invested in was 3 turns. Hopefully this is just -1 and not -2 to energy, otherwise that's going to be a massive problem. Oh. So we get 1 year grace period, and then the needs will be quite substantial. Ooh. That sounds like -2 territory. That sounds like it can't be -3, that would be too much, I think. I think -2 probably, which is quite significant. You know that dam we were talking about? Okay, so a couple of things. First of all, I'm assuming then you believe that Valen can't find another customer? Believe it or not, Victor Smolak has managed to alienate Valen from most of its neighbours. I know our partners in Grace would surely follow suit and cut their own ties. Okay. And what about replacing only maybe part of the oil? Is that an option? Rumberg would prefer to eliminate its energy dependence on Valen entirely. But of course we wouldn't want Rizia to make any overly rash promises, so yes, a partial embargo on our end is possible. I mean, do we need to know how Rizian gas would reach Rumberg? Who cares about the schematics of it? The engineers will sort it, surely. What happened? Oh, I don't want to even ask the question, really. Make it sound like we're going to not be able to follow through on our promise. What is the consequence, though? We'll have to find a more reliable trading partner for energy as well as other materials. And I will be most displeased. Okay. I think I've got a good grasp on the particulars of the deal. And what do you think of the idea? I mean, I like the idea, but it's how soon can we commit to it, because we're not exactly in a surplus at the moment. Man, without the dam, I think we're going to struggle to fund, struggle to do this. You know, I really do. But if we've got a surplus of cash, we can prop up our energy a little bit, but that's a temporary measure. And it's not an infinite resource. You can only do it so many times, and you get diminished returns each time. And this also says we can't promise anything right now, which means we might be able to stall this. But then I'm assuming that the longer you stall it, the worse the outcome is, perhaps. Whereas if you cut ties with or do it now so that she cuts ties with them straight away, it's going to impact them for a longer period. I don't know. It's got to be more beneficial to do it now, I would assume. And how feasible is it for us to get Zeal without her? Because don't forget, we've got another angle that we're going for. The other angle is, because we didn't mention it to her, but the other angle is we've got that kind of group that we funded that are going in to try to stir up a bit of a rebellion. You know, will that in itself be successful, even if we were to turn this offer down? This just sounds like an alternative solution that we might commit to when we didn't really need to. But I suppose it's better to have more ways to take Zeal back than put all our eggs into one basket, I suppose. And taking Zeal back, if it was between Zeal and Pales and we could only take one back, I think it's possible to take both of them. But Zeal is my mother's homeland, and it actually is ours. This is loaned to them. Pales have naturally become their own country by right. So Zeal is the more important of the two to us. So see you later, Jam. Fingers crossed. No, I mean, in principle, it sounds very good. You buy less oil from Valen. We'll make up the difference with natural gas and other energy sources. So she's not going to ask for natural gas. She's just going to ask for a flat energy fee, obviously. As long as we can afford that, we're quids in. This is not committing to it, obviously, because it's not the decision where it says how much energy she's asking for, but we're just telling her we love the sound of it. Thrilling. How much less oil then? Okay, now we're talking the nitty-gritty. Oh, -2 energy up front and -1 energy per turn. Oh, Jesus wept. And the frustrating thing is, if I'd have realised at the start of the session that we were getting a turn's worth of budget for the next turn, I wouldn't have done the medium sale of energy to fund the coal. Right, how much are we getting per turn? So that's -2. That's -1 energy per turn. We can't see our decrees right now to see how much the oil field, not the oil, the gas field that we, was it the Narbus or something? Gas field that we invested in at the start. I think that was 3 turns. What happens if you go into negative energy? Oof. So it seems like we can't do the whole hog, because we might have needed a bit more energy. Maybe -4, -2 would have been the whole kit and caboodle. We've only got -2, -1. Oh, so this is all kind of game mechanics territory now, and I can't reload it anyway because it's on the torpor mode is disabled. So I wonder if it's beneficial to wait, get more energy by buying it, and then ask for it again. I doubt it. I doubt it. I don't know if they've got on speed dial. You know, we can just pick the phone up. Right, we're ready now. Oh man, this is the decisions in this game are tough. -1 energy per turn. Don't forget, we've also committing energy to the port. So that's an additional -2 energy per turn. this is a tough one, because we do have an alternative to try to take Zeal. If it wasn't for the -2 up front, I wouldn't be quite so bad, I wouldn't have thought, actually. Well, it gives us at least 2 turns for things to kick in with the other energy sources. I think we'll go with it. We'll go with it. Hopefully, there's not going to be too many more events in this game that require vast swaths of energy, you know. But other options might become available. The decrees that can give us a bit of a boost, perhaps. I'm not sure, but yeah. I feel like we've not got much of a choice if we want Zeal back. Ah, bloody sad. Fine. Certainly. It may not have as much of an impact as you were hoping, but it also won't be as much of a leap of faith on our part. This will all need to be formalised by my parliament and your government, of course. A verbal agreement between in-laws is hardly sufficient. I agree completely. My councillors and your foreign ministers can iron out the small print. Precisely. We handle the big picture while the underlings take care of the particularities. Moving on to equally important matters. How are the princess's marriage plans coming along? They're not, basically. They're not at all. Why is your eldest son single? That would be like cousins, wouldn't it? Second cousins or something, surely. Auntie, kid. Yeah. No. I mean, it's royalty. It happens, clearly. I've got too much going on to think about that. There's plenty of time. Apple of my eye getting married to all and sundry. Well, don't dilly-dally much longer. An unmarried royal is catnip for the tabloids. They had quite the field day with my Bradley before I secured his betrothal. Oh yeah, we got that RPP proposal about freedom of speech, freedom of press or whatever. No, clearly not happening. My Vena's a modest girl. She won't do anything worth gossiping about. I'm quite sure of that. I don't care who her son's betrothed to. Never underestimate the ability of the international press to manufacture royal scandals from thin air. Don't forget the rest of Grace is invested in the Taurus line of succession as well. Rizia is one of its linchpin nations, after all. Didn't realise our fellow kingdoms were keeping such a close eye on me. You are the unproven ruler of a country that possesses fabulous wealth. Don't be surprised you're under scrutiny. Grace wants to see a stable Rizia, especially after the summit at which we all promised closer cooperation. Yes, well, believe me, I want to see a stable Rizia as well. She smiled. Together, we will ensure your lasting legacy. She rose to leave. I shall see you at supper, Your Majesty. The Queen gave the door a swift knock. Her attendants opened it, bowing as they did so. She paused. Congratulations on your recent trade deal, by the way. although I wouldn't trust the swords any further than I could throw them. She walked out with her gown trailing behind her. Yeah, had to stick the knife in, didn't she? Oh boy. So we can't go below 0 energy. So what happens if we do? Is it game over? Does it just stick at 0 constantly? Is there any sort of implications? Not sure. Right. Diplomacy, situations, Rumberg average energy exports. Strengthening ties with our brethren there. Right, news. Geopolitical news. CSP's investments in Nibia achieve poverty reduction milestone. Good for you, Nibia. Very good for you. Okay, we've got some briefings. Fort Ailes. Valgish Heritage Week allowed to proceed. Annual Valgish Heritage Week, a festival celebrating the region's history as part of the Valgos Empire. Especially contentious this year due to recent events in Zeal. However, the week seems to have proceeded peacefully, with only a few clashes between the local Rizians and those of Valgish Palesian hereditary. But what? How do we parley? Isn't it parley? Parley? Pele? Parley? Palais, as in ballet. Palais, yeah. Palesian. Right. Monkeys! Ooh, Swordish magnate Marcel Caronti checks in on resort construction progress. Caronti Resort. Happy with its progress and eagerly anticipating its grand opening. So they're getting a port, they're getting a new resort. It's all happening in Monkeys. Swordish businessman Walter Tusk goes on holiday in Valenkiris' wine country. Spent a night at the Cantuavo luxury villa before continuing a short tour. He's been inspired by the recent availability of Rizian wine in Swordland. Yes, well, Mr. Tusk. The less you're in Rizia, the better. Golden Guard expands ranks and begins investigation. Ooh, 36. From 12 to 36. Yes, look at that. The extra recruits have been dispatched to the province of Brenus to begin their investigation into the Su Omina organization. Yes. Send diplomatic envoy to improve relations. It's going to cost us some money. In a bid to strengthen international relations and fortify alliances, it's proposed to send a diplomatic envoy to a nation of our choice. Parley, Valen, Derdia or Morella. Enhance trade, cooperation and mutual understanding. So there's no point of sending it to Valen, is there? I don't want to thought, because we're going to be getting Zeal back by hook or by crook, and once we've got Zeal back, we can probably cut Valen aside. I mean, we're not going to do it on purpose, and it might end amicably, but things aren't quite so there with us at the moment. So if we're just pushing Wayland to one side, Parley, on the other hand, I think a diplomatic envoy there. We've obviously got some underhanded, shady stuff going on as well, but you know, while that's going on the face of it, diplomatic envoy, trade, cooperation, building up a relationship with them. Why the hell not? We can afford it, just about. Enhanced trade, cooperation and mutual understanding. I do apologise about these, what they're called? Telegram pings. I'm going to have to start muting the group I'm in. I mean, yes, this would be on the top of my list. I'm just thinking to myself, is it worth doing this if we want to take it from them? We're going to take it diplomatically, I suppose. So sending a diplomatic envoy is probably a good precursor. So you know, yes, let's do it. Let's do it. Assignment started. Okay, so you have got a family visit to Isa. Oh, well, how could this possibly end? Probably badly. Actually, let's have a look at this quickly. Cedric Rielfell arrives in Parley. Famed diplomat. Cedric Rielfell. It's got to be an Easter egg to somebody real, that surely. During his stay, he will visit various political and economical leaders as well as tour the country in an effort to improve relations. See how he does. Right. So after months of promises and scheduled conflicts, Vina and I were finally on our way to visit my cousin Rico Taurus at his palace in Isa. The city's main road was straight and impossibly wide, a relic of Marcian times when the city was a major trading centre. I waved out the car window to the crowds of citizens lining the road. Up ahead loomed the domed library of the university. I noticed most of the people who'd come out to see us were native Rizian, even on the streets of the city's Wezek quarter, Little Raklovich. Vina suddenly tapped me on the shoulder. "Father, look over there!" In front of the university library, a construction crew was hastily pulling a sheet over a large object. Stop! The car. I want to see what's under this sheet. Trying to cover it up. Is it graffiti? We came to a halt. My guards exited the car and ordered the workers to remove the sheet. Beneath it was one of the statues I'd commissioned earlier in my reign, depicting the Taurus lineage, my father, myself, and Vina. All of our heads had been chopped off. That's worse than graffiti. They chopped our heads off. How dare they? Oh dear. Well, we are very political and play the game and be all very nicey-micey to our council members, but when it comes to people doing wrong, we're very hard line. And we are horrified. The guilty party must be found and punished for this. It's certainly not a warm welcome. Her face looked noticeably paler. She unconsciously put her hand to her own neck. Do you think Rico wanted us to see this? He's trying to crack down on crime here, isn't he? What better excuse than sedition against the royal family? Good theory, Vina. As perceptive as your mother was. Thank you, Father. Hugo's meeting us here too, right? Why do you think they wanted us here so badly? I suspect the Golden Guard investigation I ordered will be the main topic of discussion. I can't even remember the last time Cousin Rico and I properly spoke. When we were children, maybe. We rode on until we reached Palaz Sazin. Under Rico's stewardship, a formidable-looking iron gate had been constructed around the otherwise tranquil palace complex. Its security let us through to the Duke's residence, a blindingly white building with the flags of Rizia and House Taurus hanging from every window. We walked up to the doors. As soon as the guards opened them, a pair of long-nosed Rizian hunting dogs raced towards us, barking. Ha! Pet the dogs! We love dogs! Come on, Poochies! How you do? Hand off. Oh, I reached out and carefully gave each dog a pat on the head. Bella! Bruno! Sit! Both dogs promptly sat at attention, still as statues. I heard the sound of boots on tile as my cousin Rico approached. He was wearing an olive green tweed jacket and a flat cap. Farmer Giles here. He gave me a quick bow of acknowledgement, then knelt and kissed Vina's hand. I was struck by his transformation from a gawky, insecure teen to a broad-shouldered, preternaturally confident young man. Welcome, my cousins. It has been far too long. Greetings, Your Grace. I trust Father informed you of today's plans. We leave for the woods in an hour. Wait, what? Hugo appeared from behind his son, a sheepish look on his face. Your first hunt as king. I wanted it to be a surprise. Ah. Appreciated, but I was hoping the four of us could have a serious conversation. We'll have plenty of chances for that. 9/10 of this sport is waiting, after all. Not when you have this. He turned around and showed us the KA-74 semi-automatic rifle strapped to his back. Hugo turned his nose disapprovingly. Isn't that cheating? Boars are speedy bastards. You'd be surprised, Your Highness. He smiled rakishly at my daughter. We have outfits prepared for the two of you, and your choice of weapons, of course. Good old-fashioned rifle for me, please. Hugo smirked at his son. You see, boy, there is still real gentlemen in this world. I do wish I'd known about these plans. I never so much as held a gun before. Come now, I'll teach you. It'll be great fun. Inside, Vina and I quickly refreshed ourselves and changed into the hunting garb that had been laid out for us. We stepped out to find two waiting jeeps. Ooh, who shall I go hunting with? You know what? I'll ride with Duke Rico. I have much to discuss with him. Rico nodded. An aide held the door open, and we hopped into the first car. East of the palace, the landscape quickly turned hilly and green. We were entering the Breenus Forest Estate, a private hunting ground reserved for nobility only. I turned away from the window to see Rico looking at me intently. You must already know what I'm about to say, Your Majesty. I knew you didn't approve of the company I keep here in Isa, but to accuse us, them, of terrorism? Okay, I think we should have picked the neutral option now. I didn't want to openly accuse them. Yeah, I think the neutral option was probably the option that Escabel was referring to when he was talking about the fact that we were going to open an investigation, blah, 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 blah. We've actually actively accused these guys, again, without evidence, which makes no sense. It's a bit of a bummer. Look, I had no other choice. I'm trying to avoid an international incident here. Well, I humbly request that you try harder. Whatever you may think of us, Su Omina didn't plan the Zeal attack. A light smirk formed on his face. Though I can't say I wasn't happy to see those Vezex get what was coming to them. Have some respect for the dead. So you want me to believe your organisation is completely innocent? In Valen? Yes. Your investigation into us will turn up nothing. But if you want this mess cleared up in time for Zeal to be returned, I think I can help you. How? He cleared his throat. The people in my organisation are loyal to me, Your Majesty. Very loyal. If one or two of them were to confess to the attack, as a splinter cell acting independently of both Su-Omina and the Crown, it would solve both of our problems. Oh, you mean set up a falsity? Oh, interesting. I don't need names. The investigation will turn up the truth. In time to get Zeal back by the end of the year? I doubt it. Oof, God, see? More decisions. And what's he getting out of all of this? So we've got, we've got rumblings going on. We've got the oil situation going on. Do we need to fast track this part of the investigation as well? I don't think we need to do everything, do we? Or maybe we do. Maybe we need to do everything in case any of the others fail miserably. We didn't put all of our eggs behind the oil situation because we couldn't afford to. Oof. Would be convenient to put this incident behind us as fast as possible. Just kind of throwing it out there, maybe. We could actually ask how loyal they would be. Would they crack under interrogation? See, the trouble with these kind of situations is, the truth often always outs itself. So do you know what? No. We have the Zeal situation under control. We don't need shady goings-on from Cousin Rico, who we couldn't trust as far as we could throw him. I understood, Your Majesty. Carry on with your investigation. Forget I said anything. We looked away for a moment. The woods around us were growing denser. We can address him as cousin, or keep it very, very formal. No, we'll keep it formal. Is there anything else you'd like to bring up with your king? Now is the time. Rico eagerly turned back towards me. Green light, green light. I'm sure you've been kept abreast of the situation here, Your Majesty. The drugs, the violence, the open resistance against our government. Yes, the headless statues. Bit of Vulpus coming out there. Bit of a... couldn't help but have a slight jest there. Jest sort of masking a serious... point we're making. Oh, you weren't supposed to see those. I've heard that in times of emergency, police from the Rizian Central Forces can be placed under individual leaders' direct command. I petitioned your War and Security Councillor for just such a transfer, but she refused. Should we go over her head? I mean, the Brynnis police probably can't be counted on to keep the peace here, if we're being honest. But so they will be. You should be cooperating with the greater province of Brennus. It's just like throwing more numbers at a problem. Sometimes it's not throwing the numbers, it's about being efficient, you know what I mean? Efficiency, pal. You mean with the Sazens? He snorted. They can't be counted on to cooperate. If anything, they're actively plotting against us. I'll send you the petition when we are back at home. I trust you to do what's best for our city. We pulled off the road and continued some distance on a dirt path that wound through the pines. We came to a halt at the mouth of a grassy clearing with gently sloping sides. Hunting blinds lined its perimeter. It vaguely resembled a gigantic serving vessel. Ah, at last. Enough politics talk. We disembarked and Rico eagerly unlatched the back of our jeep. Bella and Bruno hopped out and started sniffing the air. Caught the scent already, my dears? Must be dozens of boars out there. The other car pulled up next to us. Hugo and Vina got out, still in conversation. So you see, Your Highness, knowing how to aim and fire a gun correctly is as useful a royal skill as knowing how to hold a salad fork. Yes. With the essential difference that lettuce doesn't bleed when you pierce it. Hugo chuckled politely. He waved his son over. I've bored you enough, Your Highness. I believe Rico was going to show you the ropes. I would be delighted to, if the king permits. He extended his hand to my daughter. It's not my decision, actually. Vina? You want to go with him? Yes, I'd love to. We didn't even get a chance to speak at the coronation. Vina took Rico's hand. With a smile, he picked up their guns and walked over to one of the blinds, dogs in tow. Hugo shrugged. 2 of us it is, Your Majesty. An assistant handed me my rifle, a Rizia-made Data 56. It was more awkward to hold than I expected. My son may aim for quantity, but men like us know quality is the key. He locked and loaded his own Data rifle. Its stock had a gold-embossed bull on it. We climbed up into the hunting blind opposite of Vina and Rico's position. And now we play the waiting game. There was a long stretch of silence, punctuated only by the chirping of birds and the occasional bark of Bella and Bruno in the distance. I may not like Rico's hunting methods, but his dogs are second to none. They'll drive the boars out in no time. Why were you so keen that he and Vina go off together? He calmly adjusted his rifle's sight. If my son and your daughter are to be married, they ought to spend time together first. Excuse me? Ha! You can get that idea out of your head straight away, pal. Or have you seriously never considered the possibility? I think the whole cousin situation is probably well embedded into how things operate around here. Do we insult his son? I think we'll just say that actually the thought never crossed my mind, actually. That is indeed shocking, Your Majesty. As you know, there are interests both inside and outside this country who seek to snatch Rizia away from House Taurus. Consanguinity wouldn't be my first choice either, but it's the only way to keep our family in power. The right alliances can make us more powerful than blood alone. And the wrong ones will doom us to history's dustbin. As your uncle and your advisor, this is my advice. You may follow or disregard it as you choose. Just then, we heard a rustling sound coming from the woods. Bella and Bruno had found their quarry. A group of boars raced into the clearing, the dogs nipping at their heels. Working in tandem, they forced their prey into the lowest part of the glade. Looking through my gun sight, I fixed my crosshairs on the group. Misintentionally. I aimed slightly to the right and pulled the trigger. I heard a squeal and a thud. To my surprise, I did. I tried to miss and I hit them. There you go. Oh no, for heaven's sake. Ha! Well done! That makes me wonder what would have happened if I tried to hit it. I'd have probably missed. As I turned away to reload, I heard a series of rapid-fire bangs coming from Rico's direction. I looked back out of the blind to see the ground littered with dead boars. Not very sporting, if you ask me. I got through the rest of the hunt without any additional kills. Hugo racked up 4, Rico a dozen. He and my daughter were deep in conversation as they climbed down from their blind. Lies of this, lies of that. I'm telling you, if Valen's civil war had happened when grandmother was still in power, she wouldn't have set out the welcome mat. No, Liza would have honoured Rizia and Valen's long history of cooperation and shown compassion for those who suffered. You naive little girl. Everyone in Macopa wants what we Rizians have. The Wessex saw a chance to get it, and they jumped on it. He flung his gun on the ground in frustration. I'm afraid your daughter didn't shoot a damn thing on today's hunt, Your Majesty. She was too busy distracting me with her nonsense opinions. We've heard enough. Vina is your intellectual superior in every way. You twit. You will apologise to her now. He seemed to collect himself for a moment. I'm sorry, Your Highness. I must have gotten carried away. We posed for photographs next to the boars we'd killed. The assistants began packing everything away. We'll eat tonight. The chef at Palace Sazon does an excellent braised boar with wine sauce. Rico, Vina, why don't you two ride ahead and notify the kitchen staff? His Majesty and I will be right behind you. Vina gave me a pleading look. Yes, why don't you go with your son, Hugo? Actually, I'll accompany the princess. Hugo raised an eyebrow. As you wish. Come along, Rico. Vina silently thanked me as Rico and Hugo departed. We climbed into the second jeep and headed back to the palace. Dinner that night was indeed delicious. Okay. Rico, we didn't like you to start with, and we like you a hell of a lot less now. Right. What the hell is this? Load of rubbish. Right, what have we got to come? We've got the Isa police transfer, which we're not doing. Denied the police transfer. Sorry, Hugo, we don't like you for a start. Port Drazen. Rizi Imperi Business Women's Association highlights gender pay gap. Oh yes, gender pay gap. There's a royal decree to close that gap somewhere down here. Not top of our list, I'm afraid. There you go, impose equal gender pay. We've got books to balance, I'm afraid. We've got another couple of decrees that we want to do. So how much is it for a small global energy purchase? 2 budget for 1 energy. Oh, that's quite steep, isn't it? But we're going to need that 1 energy. Anyway, what's this one? Royal visit to the Scarlet Kingbird Festival. Right, this will be the last event for today. My voice is beginning to go, and I don't think I'm doing it any favours with all this talking. Probably wasn't a good idea to stream a game that requires a lot of reading when you've got a dodgy throat. To be in hindsight, but hey, here we go. So every spring, the seaside town of Salabez celebrated the Scarlet Kingbird Festival. The vibrantly coloured songbirds spent their winters in Xena, near the southern part of what used to be the Musa Empire. Every spring, like clockwork, they flew back over the Gulf of Mordia to settle in Salabez. Their return was celebrated with music, dancing, and lavish banquets, opened by a speech from the reigning Duke of Salabez. It was traditional for the King of Rizia and his family to attend. The sun hung low in the sky over the Arena Salabez, a 100-year-old open-air venue perched directly on the beach. Vina and I sat waiting in the royal box as cameras flashed in our direction. My daughter impatiently tapped her fingers on the arm of the chair. We hadn't spoken much since Isa. Don't worry, it'll start soon. The programme announced a special guest. I wonder who it'll be. A fanfare sounded from the pit orchestra and an announcer stepped behind the podium. This year, he said, the speech would be given not by the Duke of Salabez, but by the heir of House Suzerain. Who's that? It's not that flipping main... Dun dun dun! Let's see if Vina's eyes pop out of her head, shall we? Just keep a glance on Vina here as Manus gets on stage. This was no longer the nervous young man I'd met in Port Drazen. He radiated confidence as he stepped up to the podium. Greetings, Salabians! Salabians! He waited for the applause to subside, then held up a hand for the audience to listen. The entire arena fell silent. I'm not liking this. This man has got some command of the locals here. The story of the Scarlet Kingbird is a story about trust. Every year this tiny feathered creature travels thousands of kilometers to reach our shores. He doesn't know what perils await him on the way to his destination, nor what sort of welcome will await him there. Yet he flies on because something deep within his soul compels him to do so. An inner voice that tells him, "This is your home." We should get to the bloody point. Although, is this a metaphorical speech? Just casting our mind back to the holding the priest's hand, the premonition-y things. I'm sure he was in one of them. We also had flocks of birds coming, unions, traitors, stabby hearts. Is he talking about himself? Shh! Oh, she's got it bad, all right. Don't shush me, Vini. Vina glared at me, then turned her full attention back to the man on stage. You having a laugh? And what of those who wait for him? We have no idea where he's been or how he knows to navigate to this exact same spot each time. Still they gather here, scanning the skies for the first sign of his return. As if on cue, a solitary bird came flying towards us from over the horizon. Its plumage was bright red. A tear rolled down Manus's... Oh, he's very good at this, isn't he? A tear rolled down his cheek. I squeezed one out there. Oh, everybody. Oh, my God. Don't buy this crap. Trust. It's the only way any of this works. Even when we've been given no reason. Even when our faith is tested. Over and over. A second bird followed, then a third. It's only when we place our trust in one another that we are able to find our way. The audience gasped as the sky over our heads filled with hundreds and hundreds of kingbirds, their crimson feathers magnificently lit by the setting sun. Too much trust will get you unfaithful as shit. Oh dear. I mean, yeah. We don't want to be too bitter about this, but gotta admit it is beautiful. Sight of birds flying in. We'll keep it about the birds, shall we? It's breathtaking. Mina sniffled. She had tears in her eyes as well. Oh, God. Once the sun had set and the birds had gone to roost, we made our way to the VIP reception in the neighbouring pavilion. A big band was playing jazz music as Vida and I entered. We immediately found ourselves surrounded by local officials, celebrities and members of the press. It was nearly an hour before I was able to sit down. Almost as soon as I parked myself in a chair, I noticed Maynard Sazin making his way over to me. Not in the mood to dance, Mr. Sazin? Maynard smiled uncomfortably. I'm better off on the debate floor than the dance floor, Your Majesty. Actually, I've been hoping to speak with you for a long time. So why did you request an audience? He gave me a look that was equal parts hurt and puzzled. I did, through your Grand Vizier. The message must have gotten lost. But since we're both here right now, Your Majesty, interesting. Hugo's not giving me all my messages, it seems. I shall have to raise this with him. Anyway, indeed we are. I know what you and your family think of me, and I know that my position in government is symbolic at best, but I still think we have a chance to accomplish great things for this country. So, and who exactly is speaking to me right now? The heir of the House Sazin or the Speaker of the Rizian People's Party? The two cannot be separated. I joined the House of Delegates because of Lucas Sazin, because my father's rash act of violence robbed Rizia of the peaceful transition it deserved. The remaining Sazins and I are in agreement. Our citizens need not shed blood to be granted a voice. Including your mother? Manus traced the rim of his wine glass with his finger. I've discussed this with her. We've had plenty of time on Calcabiz, after all. Rizia already has the framework in place to become a true constitutional monarchy, a place where citizens have a greater say in the lawmaking process, but the royals keep their status and influence. I know I'm taking a risk by suggesting this to you, but I believe that unless a change is made, we may face another uprising. So we went for... Did we go for absolute monarchy approach? Or keep... I think we went for absolute monarchy, right? Absolutism? Which in hindsight I'm thinking now, we've probably cocked this up big style, because absolutism is probably bound to lead to sort of uprisings, and we've got no military to help us with any uprisings. A second uprising will not happen during my reign. I do not doubt the strength of your regime, Your Majesty, but the commoners are tired of a ruling class that places its own desires above their own. Right. We're not reforming Rizia, no. I'm not looking forward to working with your party at all. And I don't feel the need to have to placate you either. I've only ever had my people's needs at heart. I mean, strictly speaking, we are starting out our reign by funding projects that are going to bring us money and energy, which will in the long term fund projects for the people. So that, strictly speaking, is true. So we're going to say it. Of course. But will your successor, or your successor's successor? We've seen how risky it is to let the fate of the country rest on a single ruler. Look. I can see you now. We are quite religious, don't forget. I say quite religious, very religious. Yeah, when in doubt, turn it to religion, eh? My house was chosen by God to rule, Mr. Sazin. Are you saying God made a mistake? Eh? Well, you can't answer that, can you? When you want to win a debate, just turn it to religion, God, and it's game over for the other person. That's the end of that debate, Mr. Sazin. Now, if you don't mind, I've got drinks to have. Goodbye. Took a handkerchief out and dabbed his brow. Oh. Yes. Dab away, Mr. Sazin, dab away. I hope you feel very uncomfortable in my presence. I obviously chose the wrong venue for this conversation. Yes, maybe we should have it in the Ark Sanctuary next time, in fact. Yes. No, please do go on. What were you going to tell me? Just so I can shoot you down in flames and watch you squirm a bit more. Nothing. Nothing? He stood up and pushed his chair back. If you'll excuse me, Your Majesty, I'm going to refresh my drink. Oh. See, we think we've got the upper hand. We think we've got victory here. We've shut him down. We threw God in his face. And then he flustered and runs off. Whereas actually, probably in the grand scheme of things, this is probably going to be not a good outcome. But hey, right now, we're quite satisfied with the outcome there. Goodbye. Turned around to head to the bar and came face to face with Vina, who was returning to our table. Oh, happy days. Pity she didn't trip and fall into your arms at the same time, you know. Her face was slightly flushed, or they're ending up together. We've told her, pretty much. Oh no, we didn't tell her, actually. Because we're quite traditional, right? We were quite traditional. I'm getting my playthrough confused with another playthrough that I was watching. So when she brought up marriage, I'm sure that we said to her that we were gonna, we're gonna have to marry for an alliance or whatever, because she got a bit upset. It was the whole day of the picnic and the horse riding, right? I'm sure that's what we said, because I'm sure she was a bit disappointed. So, if we were going down the, oh, Vina, you can pick whoever you want line, then obviously this could be a big situation going here, because you might end up picking him in the end, but obviously, no, I'm picking Vina. Vina, I'd rather you marry Rico than marry this clown. And that's saying something. Bloody hell, can you imagine? Choice between Rico and him. That's a terrible decision to have to make. What the hell do I do with that one? Just some lummox, stupid twit, or this smarmy traitor's son. Oh, don't make me have to choose between those two, please. Oh, excuse me, Mr. Sazin. Oh, nothing to excuse, Your Highness. I hope you're enjoying your time in Salabez. I was just speaking to the bartender. He's still trying to get the rest of his family out of Dirdia. I told him I'd see what I could do. Maynard smiled warmly. That's very noble of you, but there are thousands like him, and not all of them are lucky enough to catch the Princess of Rizia at a benevolent moment. Do not address my daughter with such impudence, Mr. Sazin. We can't help overhearing the conversation in the background. Vina rolled her eyes. He was speaking to me as an equal, father. I welcome his opinions. She turned to Maynard. Oh, you see, this is a thing that happens. I'm not a father, but I could be a father, because everything, when it comes to Right, I don't like you, you're not having him, so everything I say about him, you're going to defend him. I'm going to make myself look more and more stupid, and I'm trying to push you away from him, and everything I do just draws you closer to him. It's just one of those kind of situations. I'm seeing it happening before my eyes. Your speech was beautiful, Mr. Suzerain. Actually, it reminded me of an essay of Queen Liza's from 1883. On social contracts? Yes, that one was inspiration. Oh no. They've got things in common. Oh no, they know how he's just pulled out a random essay from 1883. Oh God, she's going to be smitten now. What were the others? The band began playing Sweetheart of Ventry City. They start dancing. I'm flipping, smashing glass. Telling you. An upbeat tune that had recently reached us from Arcasia. You know what? Tell me after this dance. She took a step closer. Oh, to Maynard's and extended her hand to him. Oh my God. He looked at me questioningly. Oh no. Oh, taking my glasses off here. Oh, over my dead body. Oh, Vina. Oh, Vina. Oh no, this is a big decision now. Oh God. Oh. Look, if we're not proposing that she gets married, alright? And if we kick up a fuss here, it's just going to cause no end of grief, a scene. She's going to be unhappy with me. We're still picking your husband though, love, so don't get any ideas. Dance and a gnome. God's sake. Vina beamed. Manus took her hand and rose from his seat. Wait, this is faster than the dances I've been learning. Do you know the steps? As a matter of fact, I do. I'll walk you through it. You lied to me! You said you were better at debates! Bastard! He led Vina out to the dance floor. I could swear he had the faintest hint of a smirk on his... Oh! We've let him... We were so happy! We've got victory! He's dabbed his brow, he's pushed his chair and he's waddled off. We're sitting there smug, and now look at what's happened! Oh my God! He's like the ultimate chess player! You think you've won, and then it's checkmate. Oh my God. Vina obviously didn't notice, and he, blind as a bat, smitten, glaring into his eyes. Cameras flashed as the news articles. I can see him now. This has got. Oh, we should have stuck to our guns and caused the scene. Vina, over my dead body. If I want here, do what you want, but I'm here. No, it's not happening. This is what fatherly love does to you. You love your kids. You're a king. You try to do your best duty, but when they look at you and with that look, oh, fine, my little apple eye. Marry the man that's going to bring ruin to our family. Just why don't you just bring all the things crashing down upon us all? I wondered if the photographers were captured looking in my daughter's eyes. It was the same one her mother had given me during our first dance together. Oh, we can see it happening. We can see it. Oh, we know it's not as... Obviously, it's obvious, isn't it? We've seen it from the first moment they passed in the palace grounds, the palace courtyard. Right, the assessment of the new oil field continues. To be fair, if this comes into fruition, right, we might get a massive boost to our energy per turn anyway, because I forgot that we've got this coming up. So we might be alright with that, combined with the coal, combined with the other gas field that we've put money into, which name escapes me. The Equirus offshore gas field. Right, folks, it's 10 past 10. My throat is absolutely... Rusty Montoro, that's going to be an interesting one. Golcondas pilgrims demand access at Morella border. No. Listen, we're highly religious, and these Golcondists, last time they tromped through here, smashed up my Ark Sanctuary, cracked tombs within it. No. Go away. You dogs. Right. That's going to be a news article waiting to happen. So we'll leave it here, folks. In the next session, which might be a stream, it might be a recorded session, it might be better off if I've got throat troubles for the rest of this week to just kind of stick to kind of hour-long sessions, maybe. I don't know, but we'll crack on with this. Speak with Rusty and see what he has to say about the old Rizian gold situation, and we'll continue the rest of this turn to see how it pans out. But yeah, not a happy ending, really, at all. God, my daughter's causing me some right grief. But anyway, folks, enjoy the rest of your evenings, wherever you are, afternoons maybe even, and catch you next time. But yeah, just stay tuned. I'll see what I can do about getting a Baldur's Gate 3 stream up tomorrow, depending on how the throat is. But yeah, thanks for watching, as always, and until next time, see you soon.